Abusian for high Davcado TV. Say when you subscribe to Davcado TV, we call YouTube. Now what I put Davcado TV. What I put Davcado TV. Now what subscribe to Davcado TV. Who subscribe we are now what turn it on will bell notification. Who turn it all bell notification. A patch say anytime we are post video or yeah platform also no, you will be the first person to get in touch with our video. High Davcado TV. And any marine shoot the story about ECG, cables, containers. Now, you see, IRA Freeport, we are still on that, saga because it hasn't ended yet. Because we have to get to the root of this matter. The cables cannot just get missing. Cables that are meant for ECG to use for connections in, villages and all that. And see, we beat a crassy, only light. Now the expectation is ECG eba be fixing lights. Now cables not marker free, outside said they are going to use those cables to fix the lights for the rural areas and rural people, over there. Yeah, no more here lights. Now the cables were imported by ECG and are landing our airport. Now say those cables were missing. So the investigation started, and then we are following this investigation because we are very, very interested. We have keen interest in this, case so far as national security and then our other securities are concerned. We at Davcado TV, we are also following this case. And as you see, it's now being handled by national security. You see, national security now are starting an investigation into these matters, into the missing containers of ECG cables. To almost starting investigation, we could discover cables nibi was Shy Hills and a boom, and Shy Hills. We could discover some cables or honomoko warehouse do or boom. Moko honomono, moko say cables nibi. It was our warehouse no. It was spread in the warehouse. And almost called Shy Hills and so there was some uncompleted building and a warehouse or one. So they discover some of the cables meant to be or meant for ECG. To say ECG logo, ni labels now that they cables no so. And on the 2nd of April. A+, honorable minister, and I say honorable MP, A+, ebe posted on social media say Gomoa baby, there was a track be asayasi, Gomoa baby, and it was discovered that that track, it was carrying, a large reams of ECG cables because it was labeled with ECG, logo. The actual ECG also. The A+ Emma National Security for alarm. Said then, Sana, what to say, Gomoa ho baby. There was some track, or there was a track that was, packed beside the roads. Yenyantie say track na say. I say omu transporti cables no. They are free baby, they are called baby fufu. It is someone who say. Yes, there are investigations going on it now. More involved. The people involved now, they are moving the cables from the jurisdiction of national security and I say the police and then the other securities that are carrying out the investigation. They were transporting it. It is assumed say they were transporting it. A national security for landing into Gomoa and I'm investigating a track of ECG cables. A track of ECG cables. So I'm counting rims. No, it's about 28. It's about 28. A track no so. Load the track no. I'm transporting. Yeah, baby but the people involved. It's alleged say 2 people were arrested. 2 people were arrested. Now the driver now or involved in there. You see why then he has absconded. Says what kind of he ran away. Until no ya ntumi anche no by then I no because investigation is still ongoing. So 2 people have been arrested, and then from there I think national securities, they are working. They need a round of applause because they are working. because so as far as ECG and as far as the people in rural areas are concerned, this cable saga, and I say whatsoever is involved, for us to get to the root of this matter about ECG cables now are free for it to be used by ECG in connecting light to Ghanaian people. No, you see cables now. The investigation is still ongoing. Now, any Hongkong, any Gomoa, yes, I could discover another track that was parked beside the road. You see Saula, ho baby. That is there is a town called Gindabo. If your map no so Saula ho baby. Savannah region. That is Savannah region. You track being so that was parked beside the road. Now they went in to check. That is the national security, because investigation as far as this matter is concerned. They are carrying out their due diligence, and then they are making sure they recover all the stolen cables. So they discover track, and then to their dismay, they realize ECG cables were packed or were loaded on the track. They need to be a track means so. And see, you could tell the people involved. Now say cables or man found one side. The ebi fa hasi. So far as T3 is concerned, I say cable no mud chiche mu, and the ebi fa hasi. Tigana hasi. And the cables cables that were meant to be used by ECG, and Uncle the cables journey to go and sell. Probably they've sold the cable and more cables now more money they journey free the outskirts of Accra. But we will get to the root of this matter, because as far as we are all concerned as Ghanaians, national security omogusu investigation and say a honsu omunya nkofo mienu were arrested over there. Nkofo mienu were arrested over there at Saula. And see anya hompo further investigation reveals Kotin ewa Ashanti region. Krobia friend Kotin Ashanti region. National security went there, and then they also confiscated some ECG cables. Any meter, they went into one of the warehouses. I could discover there were ECG cables, and then there were meters. There were about 125, cable of rims. About 125 plus meters. Need all the necessary ECG meters, plugs, and other things that were discovered. And then they also went further to another town called Kuku, and then they also discover other cables over there. So far as this matter is concerned, it's like the cables that were stolen, and I say ECG materials now, it's like they've been transported. They are transporting now from the outskirts of Accra to other places. Let's say ECG, call Central Region, they discover some of the cables. They went to Savannah, they went to Eastern Region too, they discover some of the cables over there. And then even at Greater Accra, they came back to Greater Accra. And even before then, they went to Western Region. Western Region, so they discover 26 to 41, cables. 26 to 46 cables. And also we discover other, materials, meters, plugs, and cable rims and all that. And also Western Region. And then they came to Greater Accra, Lagoon. Lagoon, so discover some of the cables over there. They met a gentleman who has access to all those cables. And I'll be some questions in regards to the bill on your cables no free. So you could tell, say, the ECG materials are divided, and then some were sent to, eastern, some were being absconded to, western region, some were found in Savannah, some were found in Greater Accra, and then some were found in even Cape Coast. This is what is going on in Ghana here. And we are all here